So next topic, we need to discuss about the construction detail. So I bring the precedent project to see how architect using the cladding material using the precast concrete, and then how architect using the structure method using this precast method. So first one is Marcel Breuer Pirelli tire building. Currently it transformed to the IKEA hotel. So this building is separating the two part, the floating part and then the bottom part here. So floating part, it is the administration office, and the bottom part, it is the laboratory. So you can see in the actual elevation, so building actually floating here for the administration office, and then bottom two level, it is the laboratory. And then this is floating around the 2-story high from the laboratory here. I think they're using this precast panel for making out of these the brutalistic looking surface. So you can see the paneling, they also cleverly using this precast concrete, because when you're using the lots of different form mold of your precast, it takes much more time and it costs a lot. So therefore they have to be think about using the one single precast mold to creating the different pattern. The Marcel Breuer using the same direction, they actually making the one single mold and then simply the copy and just mirroring it to making out these types of the pattern here. So this is kind of method how he consider about the material efficiently, then also how you can effectively using this same mold to making this pattern. So when you see this last image here, so this is an interesting precast panel for the facade. This facade looks like this is one single panel here, right? And this each panel is kind of intentionally designed this way. They actually recess the pipe, they actually recess the structure, they actually recess some structure beam here. And then this kind of more about the negative space. It's easy to recess the pipe and the structure. So that's why they intentionally designed this one. Also is great, the facade basically from the precast facade creating design. So you see here, they just kind of recess the structure and recess the pipe, and also it is kind of drop ceiling, the following from the cladding, and then they actually recess the whole system into there. So means this system is also beautiful aesthetic manner. Also it is follow this function as well. So next project is Basel retirement home. So this one is precast because you can see the lots of joint. Okay, so means this is the panel 1, panel 2, and panel 3. This is more about the separating the panel. You see the lots of different joint. So this is a precast concrete. So everything made from some factory, simply deliver on the site and assemble on the site. So means they also using the Basel Swiss is pre-cooled. Also they using the consider about the insulation. So that's why they using the sandwich panel. They have outside the concrete and inside concrete, and then they adding the insulation inside. So from this region, the concrete layer, the inside concrete layer works as the structure, and exterior concrete works as the finished cladding. So simply when you see some detail, so they actually made out the one single piece like this, and then another piece like that. So means when you just kind of see this detail joint, they intentionally making the slope, okay, which is a 2% slope. Why they making this 2% slope between the top cladding and bottom cladding? Because have to be considered about the water connection, water penetration and moisture penetration. You remember about the joint have a lot of moisture transfer through and then water transfer through. From this region, they making a 2% slope, and then they try to water getting out as much as possible. When you're making the slope, it is hard to getting into the insulation layer. But when you're making the flat, it's much easier to getting in. So from this region, they intentionally design the slope between the joint. Okay. Next project, so I just bring some case study I work in San Francisco, Stanley office. So I would like to introduce this project because it's used by Precast concrete module. The client was PG&E, which is the electric company in California. They want to design the memorable urban public plaza, and they want to design public space to provide the vital city life. PG&E owned this huge open space here. But this is almost dead space. Even the factory itself, huge monumental looking. So from this region, PG&E tried to provide urban vital park in this location. Also, when you're designing about the place, we consider about the space has the more to covered by and captured by the concrete. That's why we think about how we can use this concrete as the different manner to provide the vital energy to the space. The actual existing the wall, its height is around 30 feet height and 30 feet wide. We start our design from this wall. So it is 30 feet by 30 feet the existing wall, and then we try to copy the wall concept to the wall concept to the floor. So making the floor having the same dimension as the height, and then we try to articulating this existing wall, which is the precast panel has the 4 feet wide, and we try to articulating it, and then this articulation simply copy to the floor, okay, and then just following each strip, we also designing the furniture from this strip. This is a very simple kind of a project direction, but when you follow that, and then we just find out it makes a lot of interesting way to develop the project. So after that, we complete some project making the rendering. So you see the PG&E building, and then we just kind of designing the piece from the existing wall. And also during the night time, we consider about the lighting inside about the casting, the precast panel here. And also we propose the new lighting system over the existing PG&E factory. And also it can be much urban vitalizing comparing to the existing condition. So when you see the facade image, so you remember of the 4 feet wide panel, and then simply if following from the wall to the floor, it makes about the lots of different the urban event and occupying the different program here. So it becomes the furniture, it becomes some seating space, it becomes the play area. So they be depending on some street, it occupy the lots of different urban event. So during the night time, of course, we try to provide different aspect. We recess the lighting, actually grade the lighting from the night time. You can see the different view. So you can just following this strip becomes a chair and table, and sometimes kind of sitting, sometimes playing the ping pong. There are lots of different activity you can occupy. And during the night time, it totally change the view. So this is kind of our concept to designing about this urban park. To designing the urban park, we use the precast concrete. We only make the 5 unique pieces, okay? So it means we only need 5 mold to create these 5 pieces. But depending on the combination of these 5 pieces, we make 20 different pattern, okay? So means depending on the combination of 5 different pieces, option A to option B, option A, C, option C, and D. Depending on the combination, we making out the 20 different iterations, okay? Also, we consider about the finish type, how we can emphasize the strip. So from this region, we can consider about the different finish type. You remember I introduced in this one. So we using the retard for the linear strip, and then we using the edge etching for the bigger strip. So it means we can just more about accent this strip, okay? So when you're just actually making out this mock-up model using this different finishing material, so from this you can see which one is retard and which is the edge etching to making out this paneling, okay? So this kind of region, after that we making the several the mock-up model. We just consider about how the panel can hanging over the existing wall, and then where is the crimp location. These are so many different considerations, and then we making the several mock-up model, and then we also testing out the lighting from this mock-up model, how it works. So after we consider it works, we making the mass production, and then simply combining the piece by piece to making the huge different iteration over the surface. So this is when we making the mass production, we ask it to the contractor to build up the finish wall. This is you can see some all hanging structure. You can see some crimp. This is simply you can hanging the panel over this crimp. Okay, so this is very easy construction when you're having the precast module. So from this, so they start the construction simply hanging this simple module over the crimp, and then in making out the beautiful finish material here, and then just kind of complete project image here. So I don't have any kind of further the photograph, because after that I just moving back to the Ames. That's why I don't know about how it works, but I think seems like they have a lots of interesting kind of a shadow casting over it, and they giving the huge change between from the existing condition and current condition. And you can see from the other side, this is a kind of interesting kind of undulating elevation, and then also it's great to matching the existing PG&E building, the concrete facade, and this new proposal here. Okay, so you can see. So just kind of understanding how you understanding the precast and how you making the different finish type, and then when you're understanding about, you can just kind of simply adapt this information and simply adapt this knowledge to designing about this small park. Okay. So finally, I just talk about the lab 4. You already did a lot of research. Hopefully, you're making a good shape about your research. Please take a lot of time to making the research, because it's helps to understanding about what is about the lesson from the existing, which is a good project precedent. Okay, but lab 4 you have to be designing yourself. The lab 4 you have to work with the existing framework. So we provide in SketchUp. So we provide appropriate light level in each space given as the percentage. When you read about some lab assignment, you can just read so the minimum writing level for each program. And you also strive for the economy. You have to be very concerned about the economy and beauty together. How can you use the texture, form, finish to creating the variety while using the repetitive module and form. So we already talked about the texture, form, finish. Depending on the combination, you can make it a unique the finish material. Also, we talk about the beauty part as the texture, form, finish, but we also talk about the economy. Back to the PG&E project. So we only using the 5 mold, the module, but depending on the combination of this 5 module, we making the 20 iteration. Same thing, consider about the economy. You don't need to make 20 mold. It spend lots of money on it. So that's why minimize the mold and minimize the module. But depending on the combination, you can make it a much dynamic the facade you can design. Also, module can be created by using a different block out configuration within the same form. Same thing, when you're making the one single form, from the one single form, you can making out the 5 different design, 5 different iteration. If you're making the 5 mold from the PG&E, we can make a 20 iteration. Okay, so we also upload the 296 Mulberry Street the presentation. Please read about it, and then it is really wonderful kind of construction process. The module can be created by using the different block out configuration within the same form. You remember about this project, it is precast concrete. It is the CNC mold, making the reusable mold, and then the pouring this concrete, and then just kind of using the one single mold, creating the undulating facade. But how they making this more variety and dynamic facade? They simply start from the one single mold, and then just making out the panel. But depending on the cutting location, they cutting the this and cutting the this, cutting the middle, cutting the this edge, cutting the this part and cutting it, and cutting this side and cutting this side. It means basically from the one single panel, they making out the 8 different precast pieces. It's very economic. It doesn't need to make in 8 different mold. It making only single mold, but it can creating the 8 different pieces. So this is a consider about the economy, consider about the budget, and then more about the efficiency to design your precast module. Okay. And then just kind of see the SketchUp file. The ground level, it is public locate, and then it means you have to be concerned about more lighting coming in. And then from the level 2 to 5, you have a residential floor, but you can just see the where's the living room, where's bedroom. So depending on the location, you have to be control the lighting. So please checking out the lighting control from the level assignment. You can just kind of have to be adapted to this lighting controlled ratio for designing the facade. So we provide the platform, but now your turn. You need to be design your facade basically from our requirement. Okay, this is about the lab 4, but once again, the today lecture is very important. You have to review yourself and then review this lecture video and then lecture note. But if you have any question, just feel free to come to 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Just kind of giving the question to me. Okay, so the quiz, the basically from my lecture, it means you have to be taking this lecture and then you have to be understanding the lecture to take on the test. Okay.